And even inside of this article, try to connect that to the methodology of the Salaf, those who say they are Salafi. And he also said the Wahhabis, the Salafi Wahhabis from Saudi Arabia, he said, were radicalizing prisoners so as to cause them to do the likes of these actions that we are seeing out here, from the murder of police officers and the robbing of banks and the carrying of weapons and the selling of drugs and all of the likes of these matters. So we want to clarify beyond a shadow of a doubt, what is the true position of the one who claims to be Salafi, and what he says with regards to these matters that we have discussed, and whether or not there is any connection whatsoever between those affairs and the methodology of those who say they are Salafi. First and foremost, I'll read the question. Who are the Salafis? In the media, we constantly hear the word Salafi being attributed to extremism, and more recently in an article in Philadelphia Magazine entitled Radicals Among Us, we see it being attributed to the radicalization of prisoners and criminals in Philadelphia, and leading to some of the heinous acts that have taken place, from them the murder of police officers. So we answer this question by saying, first of all, there is a saying of old that mentions, the truth is not judged by men, but rather men are to be judged by the truth. So we should not automatically attribute the actions of a group of individuals to the teachings of a way or a faith. We look first to the teachings of that way and that faith, and then judge those individuals in the scales of the principles laid down in that way or that faith. That is justice, and that is what is correct. So what then is the definition of a Salafi before entering into this argument? Firstly, we say to answer this question properly and to understand this term correctly, one must refer it back to the language from where it originates. For certainly it has its origins in the Arabic language and in the Islamic terminology. As for the Arabic language, then it derives from an Arabic verb, salafa, which means a thing that has preceded or passed away, or everything that has preceded a man from his ancestors and forefathers. And in the Islamic terminology, it refers specifically to the companions of the Messenger of Allah, Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, and the two generations of people that followed those companions. And they are known as the Tabi'een in Arabic, the followers of the companions, and the third generation being the Atba' Tabi'een in Arabic, of course, meaning the followers of the companions. A proof of the virtue of these three generations in our religion is found in the authentic saying of our Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, the best of mankind is my generation, and the generation that follows it, and the generation that follows it. So there is no question whatsoever that from the reasons why we ascribe ourselves to the Salaf, the companions, that first generation, is because of their nobility, and because of their honor, and because of them striving to follow the pure teachings that are found in the Quran, the holy book, and the prophetic traditions of our Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. One of the scholars of Islam, known as Al-Qalshani, he wrote with regards to the meaning of Salaf, and he said, the Salaf al-Salih, the pious predecessors, are the first generation of the Muslims that were firmly grounded in knowledge, the followers of the guidance of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, and the preservers of his way and manner. Allah chose them to be the companions of his Prophet and selected them to establish the religion. So now we say it is far-fetched, the statement of those who say that the Salafi or Salafiyah is a new movement which has sprung forth in recent times or some radical ideology. Rather, it is the very same methodology of the companions of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, the one who said that indeed this ummah of mine, this nation of mine, of Muslims, is going to divide upon 73 different sects, all of them in the hellfire except one of those sects. And when the people asked the Prophet, when the companions asked the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, and who is that saved group, that saved sect from amongst all of those 73 sects, he said, what I am upon today and my companions. What I am upon today and my companions. So to truly judge someone in accordance to this matter, then they must be judged in whether or not they are following the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, and the actions of those noble companions who are the Salaf. So one may ask, who is the one who calls himself Salafi and why? Is this attribution of one who follows the Salaf in the sound understanding of Islam without straying from the pure teachings, and one who does not inject into the religion newly invented matters? Again, it is one who follows the companions in the sound understanding of Islam without straying from the pure teachings, and one who does not inject into the religion newly invented matters. The term Salafi applies to the one who identifies with the first three generations, follows their way, and calls to it. And the last vowel, or the last syllable that we find in this term Salafi, that you'll find in this newspaper article, in this magazine article, the last syllable in this word Salafi, in the Arabic language actually goes back to what is called Ya'ul Nisbah. And it is a letter of attribution, it's a letter of ascription. And all it means is that you ascribe yourself to a particular thing or place. So for example, if someone is from Pakistan, we say in the Arabic language they are Pakistani, right? And if someone is American, and they're from America, then we say they are Ameriki. And we put that ending at the end. So when one identifies himself and ascribes himself to the companions of the Prophet, in the pure following of the teachings of the Prophet, and they are the Salaf, then he is called Salafi. And that is exactly what it means, and there should be no ambiguity with regard to that whatsoever. So that should be understood first and foremost, before continuing on, that is the meaning of who is one who is Salafi. The next question says, also we hear the word Wahhabi being mentioned in the same light. So what is a Wahhabi? And how does it enter into this matter? Now we should understand that in this article, the writer of this article, and I say in all humility, that we call people to have integrity, journalistic integrity. And even in the field of academic writing, there are things that are known amongst them that must be implemented. From it is what we call ethos, pathos, and logos. What logos means is that you make a logical argument. A logical argument that is based and backed by proofs and evidences. And it is not enough amongst academic writers to make a claim without supporting your claim. If you do not support your claim, then you have not implemented the law of logos in academic writing. Secondly, there is what is called pathos, where one appeals to someone's emotions. They want to try to appeal to someone's emotions, fear being from them. And it seems that he has captured this very well. And the third one being ethos, which means that you establish credibility in your writing. And one of the ways that you establish credibility in your writing is to bring proofs and evidences. And if you do not bring proofs and evidences, logos, then you do not establish ethos. So I ask you, if one just makes a broad claim, a blanket statement, and does not support it with names and places and dates and people, then has he established from the field of academic writing what we call ethos, credibility in his writing? At any rate, the article says that these Salafis and Wahhabis are the ones who are radicalizing these prisoners. So what is a Wahhabi? And what does this term mean? Again, we have been hearing in the media that the Wahhabi methodology is that which has been charging the climate of hate and the spark of the rage of global terrorism and the likes of this. So let us look at the history of this Wahhabism and the scholar of which it is attributed to. The name Wahhabi comes from the great scholar and noble scholar Muhammad Ibn Abdul-Wahhaab, who was from the Arabian Peninsula in the region known as Najd, which is now today in the area of Riyadh in Saudi Arabia, where the capital is at. He was born in the year 1110 after the migration of the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, and Muhammad Abdul-Wahhaab was born into a scholarly house. His father was from the people of knowledge of his region, who also worked as a judge in the Islamic courts. His grandfather also, Sulaiman, was a great scholar of Islamic jurisprudence and was the one who was called upon to pass religious verdicts.